I'm going to continue my video series on elementary mathematics with a 3rd grade Common Core word problem. And here it is. A dime has a mass of about 2 grams. What is the approximate mass of 10 dimes? Now you would think this would be pretty simple, wouldn't you? Well, if we were talking about older kids, it probably would be. We're talking about 3rd graders here. Okay? Now think about this for a second. Not only do these 3rd graders have to know the difference between the metric system and the British Imperial Measurement System, but on top of that they have to know the difference between mass and weight. That's a real problem. That's a real nightmare. Now, what is the difference between the British Imperial Measurement System and, of course, the metric system? Well, I'll kind of give it in a nutshell here, but I'm going to do another video which will further expand all this and give a comprehensive teaching on all this, since they've decided to do this with Common Core. And hopefully you guys can then teach your kids all this stuff. Alright? But in a nutshell, the metric system works on a base 10 system. Okay? So you got your millimeters, you got your centimeters, you got your grams, you got your decagrams, you got your kilograms, so on and so on and so forth. Okay. The British Imperial Measurement System works like this. You've got your feet, you've got your yards, you've got your ounces, you've got your gallons, so on and so forth. And I will expand on that in a future video. Okay, so that's problem number 1 solved. Problem number 2. What does it mean? What is the difference between mass and weight? Well, let's draw this out for you. As we well know, this we're going to approximate as the Earth. And at the center of it, we have gravity. It's a magnet, basically. And the magnet pulls everything to the surface of the Earth. Okay? That's why you're sitting here instead of floating off into outer space. Okay? Now, weight is the measurement of how much force is being acted upon your body, or maybe your car or your truck or your house, or we can go on and on. But it's how much force the gravity is pulling on whatever object is sitting on the Earth. Okay? Now, the difference between weight and mass is mass doesn't change. Let's say you're on the moon. There's the moon. Okay? Now the moon has gravity too. Just not as much as the Earth. Okay? So, if you have a box of cookies, let's say you have a cardboard box, inside of it is 3 cookies. If you ship that box of cookies, let's say you ship the box of cookies from the Earth to the moon, when it gets to the moon, the box is still going to have 3 cookies inside of it unless you remove them out. Okay? If nobody touches that box of cookies is still going to have 3 cookies in it. Mass doesn't change, but the weight of the box and the cookies does. The weight changes, the mass does not. Because the mass never changed from the time you left the Earth all the way till you got to the moon. But because the gravity of the moon is less than the gravity of the Earth, then that means that the box of cookies is 8 times heavier here than it is over here. That's right, you could lose a lot of weight just traveling from the Earth to the moon. You'll feel light as a feather on the moon, whereas on the Earth you feel like a stone. Get the picture? Okay. So, mass doesn't change, but your weight does. And you are 8 times heavier on the Earth than you would be on the moon. It's a fact. Okay, so now that we've explained the difference between mass and weight, now we can actually do the problem. Okay, so if each dime weighs 2 grams, if you multiply the number 2 by the number of dimes you have, which is 10, you get 20 grams, which, if you were to do the conversion from grams to ounces, you would have approximately 3/4 of an ounce of dimes. I'm not kidding you. Okay? It'd be a little less than 3/4, but it wouldn't be that much less than 3/4. If you want to do the calculations for yourself, you go right ahead. Basically, what you would have is 20 grams in dimes. Remember, each dime is 2 grams, so you multiply the 2 by the 10, and you get 20 grams. So you have 20 grams worth of dimes, which would be about 3/4 of an ounce on the other side, with the British imperial system. And that is how you do that math problem. Alright, I will tell you more in a future video. Stay tuned.